Hi BookTube, my name is Swan. I am just one reader. I am here with a reading update video. I will casually be chatting about the books that I have going on in my mind right now. There is only one book that I have completed this week, and that was Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca, which is arguably, not arguably, it is her best-selling, like most popular work. I really want to talk more about this book, but I will try to refrain from doing that. I will try to hold back a little bit because I am in the process of writing a psychoanalytical paper, a dissertation paper, which is a very important paper in my psychoanalytical career. And I am writing it about Daphne du Maurier and particularly Rebecca. So I have many thoughts and things about this book and Daphne du Maurier in general, just sort of floating around in my brain at the moment. And I feel like if I were to just talk in depth about this book in this video, I would just never be able to stop. So I will refrain from really going into a review of Rebecca, but I will probably make a video talking about Daphne du Maurier, what I have researched and what I have thought about her as an author and Rebecca in particular. And also, I will be discussing this book in more depth in my next book review video. But what I will say is that Rebecca is not my favorite Daphne du Maurier book. I know that that's like a very unpopular opinion because most people who have read Daphne du Maurier have read Rebecca. And most of the people who have read Rebecca love Rebecca. They think that it's this amazing, amazing masterpiece. Don't get me wrong, I do love Rebecca. I don't think it's Daphne du Maurier's best work. I am not an expert on Daphne du Maurier's work, her oeuvre. I love that word. I am not an expert, really, not yet. But from what little I have read, this is not my favorite. I think that it has some flaws, or at least I have some particular criticisms about it that I will talk about later on in another video. But I love Rebecca. I do love it, even though it's not my favorite now. That being said, I distinctly remember the first time that I read Rebecca, which was 2015, so a good 6 years ago. I remember, of course, I was new to the story, or rather, the story was new to me. And I was sort of confused and disoriented, which I guess it's a good thing. And now that I think back on that experience, I didn't know where the book was going. So this is a book that has a very interesting, strange structure because the first portion of the book is it has a very particular tone, it has a very particular set of characters, it has a particular setting, and then in the next portion of the book, everything sort of changes and the story proper begins, and it just sort of feels a little bit like off kilter, like you just don't know where to turn. And I guess that's a good thing now that I look back on that experience. But when I first read the book, Rebecca, I just kept thinking, so what is this? Where is this going? And then there was a chunk in the book that I remember was a little bit boring, and then it was wonderful. So it was a weird experience. Now, having said that, I will say that the reread of this book, which is what I did now, it was a reread, it was great. I really, really loved it because I already knew where Daphne du Maurier, Dame du Maurier, would take me in the end. So I was able to, because I already knew where the finishing line was, or what, yeah, I sort of knew where it would end up at. And knowing that really made me savor this experience so much more, because I was able to just loosen up and enjoy the ride. And I think Rebecca is a great book to reread. I will actually be rereading it again in a couple of months with Jason from Chapter and Verse, because we wanted to read something together, and we wanted to make a video talking about the book and also the movie adaptations. I really love the movie that Hitchcock made, the very popular 1940s Best Picture winner of Rebecca. So I loved the experience of rereading Rebecca. I really savored it, and because I am writing my paper on this book specifically, I really I went to town with this book. I seriously annotated. I don't usually annotate books, not because I have anything against annotating books or writing on my books, but I just really wanted to savor the experience. And there's so much in here, so very much in here. Just look at, like, everything is underlined. So this was a great experience. I think my paper on Daphne du Maurier will be very interesting for me to write. So yeah, that's Rebecca. Again, if you want to know more about what I think about Rebecca, just stay tuned, and there will be a video talking more in depth about that. So the next book that I want to read, which will probably take me like maybe 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks, is a biography of Daphne du Maurier, actually, because I have to become sort of a connoisseur, or at least a very well-versed person in terms of, knowing about Daphne du Maurier's life and her family and her experiences in general. So this one is by Margaret Forster, and the complete title, in case you're interested, is Daphne du Maurier, The Secret Life of the Renowned Storyteller, and it's by Doubleday. So this was quite hard to find. I had to have it delivered from like somewhere in the United States, but it took a long time to get here, and it was pretty expensive. But I've heard that this is like the most conclusive and most enjoyable biography of Daphne du Maurier. It's not very long, and I have heard that it's really thrilling and fun to read. So it will probably take me a good 2 weeks to really dig my teeth into this. So then I have a couple of books that I want to read sometime in the month of February, and I don't want to make any promises. I'm sort of doing this with some people. Okay, so the first one is a buddy read of The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, which is the first book in a fantasy trilogy, the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. So this is book one, The Blade Itself. I don't really like these covers. They look very modern, and I just don't like the look of them, but I do like the texture. Very nice. So this is supposed to be really fun, dark, complex, like morally gray, ambiguous characters, kind of fantasy, and I just really want to get immersed into some good escapist fantasy. For some reason, I am starting now my 11th semester training as a psychoanalyst and psychotherapist. So it's been 6 years of a very intense school. Just as a side note, the particular training program that I am in is the most complex, the most advanced program that there is available as of right now in terms of psychoanalytical training. It's the most complete. It's like a postdoctoral kind of thing, and so it entails quite a lot, and it's taking its toll on me. Because as I said, it's 6 years long. I am entering my sixth year, my 11th semester, and I'm very tired at this point. So I just want to read something light. Maybe not light. I don't think this is light, but it's fun, and I really need fun. So I will be buddy reading this with Leo, my friend from the channel A Little Book Life. He's great. And he's great to buddy read with because he's very casual, he's very chill. We can just do things in a very friendly, accessible way. So that's one that I want to read with him in sometime in February. And then the other book that I have to read sometime in February and March is the book that I got for my BookTube spin. So the BookTube spin, which was a great, awesome, original, creative way of shaking things up on BookTube, was created by Rick McDonnell, another friend, I guess you could say that we're friends here on BookTube. He is Canadian. He is great. I really like his voice. He's like a tenor. And I'm sorry if this is weird, Rick, in case you're watching and I'm talking about your voice. Maybe this sounds creepy, but I am very interested in people's voices because I've studied voice for many years. And he just has a really good, very interesting, nice way of saying his consonants and his vowels in a very like clipped, crisp, clear way. I just really love listening to him. And he's a great booktuber, and he has created the BookTube spin. And anyway, I'm going off track. The book that I got for my BookTube spin selection was Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is illustrated by Trina Shard Hyman. The illustrations are really sort of classical feeling. Like some of them are in black and white, like this one. Some of them are... oh, I have a bookmark in here. I have my Harry Potter Expecto Patronum bookmark in here. That's nice. That's very convenient. I really like the illustrations that are more like stylish. Let me find one. I can't find one. I saw one. Oh, here it is. So these are some mermaids. So this just looks very standard, classical. I've never read Peter Pan. I remember I loved Peter Pan when I was a child. And I went to see a lot of musical theater adaptations of Peter Pan. And but I've never actually gone to the source material. So this is gonna be fun. It's very, very, very light. It's only 200 pages in this edition, and the font is ridiculously huge because it's, I guess, meant for children to read this. So it will probably take me like a weekend at most. So I have all of February and March to read this. So that's what I will be reading. Please let me know if you're interested in a video about Daphne du Maurier, if you're interested in my psychoanalytical findings about that topic, if you would be interested in Rebecca specifically, or du Maurier specifically, for me to make a video on, or not. Also let me know if you know about any good fantasy trilogy or series that is accessible and fun, like I am supposing this will be. Something fun, but yeah, something light but really, really fun and immersive, like the kind of fantasy that you just want to keep on reading and reading and reading. I really would love it if you could give me some recommendations of that. So anyway, that's me. That's my reading update. I am Just One Reader, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.